Hello children, hope you are doing well. Today, in this lesson 14 of social studies, you will learn about some major events of the world history. You will learn about the Russian Revolution. You will learn about the formation of Bolshevik Party government in Russia. You will learn how Hitler and Nazi Party came to rule on Germany. You will also learn about some events after the Second World War. This lesson also give you knowledge about Great Depression and its impact on different countries. Let us start with Russian Revolution. You can read the first paragraph. Tsarist Russia was a vast landmass spread over two continents and making it a Euro-Asian power. It had the third largest population in the world with 156 million after China and India. It comprised of several nations like Russia, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenia, etc. The livelihood of the Russians was derived from agriculture, and control over land was the basic reason for struggle between the peasants and feudal lords. The feudal lords owned large parts of lands, and most peasants paid rent for the land they tilled. Let us start with the Russian Revolution. Children, what do you mean by revolution? Revolution means overthrow of the existing system to bring a new system. And who will do that? Who will make effort for that change? Obviously, people. People who are suffering with the present system, people who want to change the system, they have to struggle it. The same thing happened in Russia. Russia was ruled by czars. Like India was ruled by kings before the British rule, in Russia also kings were ruled, they were called czars. Russians were unhappy in the rule of the czars. The czars imposed severe control on the kingdom and the people. They brought surrounding many nations also into their control. And in this controlled reign of the czars, people were unhappy. Look at this map, children. You can see Russian Empire was spreading over two continents, Asia and Europe. And it was so big that it spread over a large landmass. Like in other parts of Europe, feudalism also existed in Russia. It means there were landlords called feudal lords who owned large areas of land, and farmers had to pay rent to use that land for cultivation. So this owning of land by the feudal lords caused struggle between the common people and the feudal lords. In this way, in the Russian Empire, the common people or the peasants were suffering. You can see here the picture of feudal lords. Now let us see some important points. In the Tsarist Russia, the Tsarist Empire and feudal system caused suffering of the people. Russia had vast landmass with third largest population in the world. It included several nations in the surroundings. The feudal system was the main cause of struggle, in which feudal lords owned lands and peasants had to pay the rent, and control over the land caused conflict between the people and the landlords. Let us read the next paragraph. Tsar Nicholas II ruled over his vast Russian empire like any autocrat with the help of the army and bureaucracy. But the Russian economy was bled in the extreme by the World War. The Russian army was the largest in the world before World War I. Yet by 1917, Russia had lost 2 million soldiers and civilians and become the biggest losser of human lives in World War I. The diversion of food to the war front led to shortages in the cities. On March 8, 1917, around 10,000 women of the capital, St. Petersburg, took out a procession demanding peace and bread. Workers joined them in this protest. Unnerved at the protest in the capital, Tsar Nicholas II ordered the army to suppress the demonstrators, even by firing at them. Instead, the soldiers joined the demonstrators. Tsar Nicholas II was the last Tsar of Russia. He ruled from 1894 to 1917. In 1917, people removed the Tsar. Under the Tsar Nicholas II, people had to suffer a lot because Tsar, without caring the wishes of the people, he took his own decisions. One of such decisions was inclusion of Russia in the World War. You know in the last lesson that First World War started by the attack of Austria on Serbia. As Tsar Nicholas had a treaty with Serbia, he decided to rescue Serbia and counter on Austria. But even when the war turned into World War, he did not withdraw. He decided to continue in the war. On one side, people were suffering with poverty. On the other side, this war brought increase in their sufferings. Large amount of food was taken to military. Because of this, food shortage was increasing all over the parts of the Russia. This anger and dissatisfaction manifested when nearly 10,000 women at capital St. Petersburg took out a procession on 8 March 1917. They demanded bread and peace to all people. Later, workers also joined them, and when the Tsar could not control his anger, he ordered the army to fire on them and control them. But instead of firing on the demonstrators, soldiers joined the demonstrators. In this way, most of the people became against the Tsar. Now, look at some main points. Russian economy was in miserable condition under the rule of Tsar Nicholas II. He had imposed an autocratic rule with the help of the army. Russians' condition was miserable under this rule. Russia joined the World War I because of the decision of Tsar Nicholas II. Russia lost 2 million civilians and soldiers. Diversion of food to war led to shortage. 8th March 1917, Bread and Peace movement started, which was later joined by workers. When Tsar Nicholas II ordered to fire, soldiers joined demonstrators. When situation goes out of control, the Tsar had no other choice to left except to escape from the scene. This abdication of the Tsar or escape of the Tsar led to the formation of a non-autocratic but provisional government on 12th March 1917. Remember children, this was the first revolution of 1917 in Russia. Though it taken place on 12th March, it is also called February Revolution. I will tell you the reason just a while after. You can see is the Tsar Nicholas II. You can look here how the movement continued in Russia. On 23rd February 1917, thousands of women took to the streets of Russian capital, Petrograd, to mark International Women's Day and protest over bread shortages. You can see here the leader of the new provisional government. His name was Alexander Kerensky. He took many of the important persons who are the part of the movement into his government. Though provisional government was formed after the people's movement, it could not stand to the expectations of the people. As the name indicates, provisional government, it shows that it was only provisional, it was not permanent, it was a temporary government. That means yet another revolution has to come and yet another government has to be formed. Let us look at some factors which caused the failure of the provisional government. The first and foremost cause of the failure of the provisional government was decision to continue in the war. Russians were fed up with the war. It was increasing their suffering, but the provisional government decided to continue the war for the prestige of the country. Provisional government also could not control the economic shortages prevailing all over the country. The common people had to show their dissatisfaction. The common people organized into groups, into councils that were called Soviets. Soviets of peasants, Soviets of workers, Soviet soldiers were formed. All these Soviets were channelized by Russian Communist Party or Russian Bolshevik Party. Vladimir Lenin was the leader of Bolshevik Party. After the launch of the Bolshevik Party, the Bolsheviks put forward their demands. First demand was immediate peace and withdrawal of Russia from the World War. The next important demands were nationalization of land, redistribution of land, price control, nationalization of all factories and banks. You can note down some important points. Remember children, the first revolution which took place in Russia in 1917 was in the month of March, but it was also called February Revolution. The second revolution which took on 7th November, after which Bolshevik government is formed, that is also called October Revolution. The reason is that the presently all over the world we are following the Gregorian calendar. Most of the countries switched to the Gregorian calendar, but Russia continued following the Julian calendar until 1918. Russian Julian calendar was 13 days backward of the Gregorian calendar. That is the reason the revolution which took place on month of March according to Gregorian calendar is also called February Revolution. And the next revolution which took place in November is also called October Revolution according to Julian calendar followed by Russia. By the support of large masses and Soviets, ultimately Bolsheviks under the leadership of Lenin seized power from the provisional government on 7th November. And as you know, it is called October Revolution. The Bolshevik government, after coming to power, immediately taken the steps which the people wanted. The first step taken was end of the participation in war. So Russia withdrew from the First World War in 1917, October. Second step taken was redistribution of land. The Bolshevik government decided that land from the landlords will be seized by the government and it will be redistributed to the poor peasants. At that same time, it was observed that all over Russia there was disturbance caused by white armies who are the supporters of the monarchists, and also civil wars fought by the anti-communist soldiers. But by 1920, Bolshevik government was able to control both the white armies and also the civil war led by anti-communist soldiers. You can note down here some important points. On 7th November, the formation of the Bolshevik government and the immediate steps taken were withdrawal of the Russia from World War, redistribution of the land, control on the white armies, and control on civil war. You can see here soldiers showing their obedience to the new government, and they are showing their obedience to the Lenin and accepting him as the great leader of Russia. The next major decision taken by the new Bolshevik government was formation of USSR. As you know, surrounding nearly 14 countries were the part of the Russian Empire. The new Bolshevik government announced end of the Russian Empire in 1924, and at the same time they permitted those countries who are the part of the Russian Empire to get freedom from the Russian Empire. But as those countries showed willingness to remain joined with Russia, the new government decided to form USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. In this way, a union called USSR was formed by the Bolshevik government, which included surrounding 14 countries and Russia. In this way, a great experiment of building an ideal socialist nation was started by Bolshevik government. They expected this government, this new country without any exploiters and capitalists. They wanted to build a new Russia where there will be modernization, but there will be no inequality. There will be development, there will be no exploitation. So this experiment and their rules and regulations and new forms of governments were inspiration to the whole world. You can look here a map showing the countries included in the USSR. After death of Lenin in 1924, Joseph Stalin came to power in Russia, which is presently USSR, in 1924. Joseph Stalin was an eminent leader of Communist Party. He put an absolute control on his own party and also on opposition. Under Joseph Stalin, Russia started a planned economy with starting of 5-year plans in 1928. Joseph Stalin started a twin policy of industrialization and collectivization of agriculture. He was of the view that to develop the nation, the development of industries and agriculture was necessary, and he wanted to develop the two sectors simultaneously. But he thought that the present farming system in the small scale is not sufficient to develop the agricultural sector. So he included the new system of collective farming, in which the small and large, all the farms were pooled, and a joint farming was started by the government. So this was called collective farming. It was also decided because large scale farming will be most efficient to use the new technology and machines. So under Joseph Stalin, a collective farming was started in Russia or USSR. But in this system, large farmers thought that they will get loss because they have to surrender their large lands to the government. So large farmers resisted collective farming, but the Stalin's government took very strong actions on them. The farmers who are resisting the government's decision, they were imprisoned and executed. They were given severe punishments of jail and deportation, even some of them given death punishment. So this caused a severe discouragement to the farmers, and it led to famine in 1929-30. But later, Stalin government took many steps because of which soon agriculture and industries rose to high levels. And this given a bumper crops all over the Russian Empire or Russian nation. The new government decided to form a socialistic government in which industries will be owned by the government. No free market was allowed. The government wanted to build the infrastructure all over the country as fast as possible. So it started rapid constructions of rails, roads, or quarters or other facilities for the people. But these rapid constructions led to poor working conditions. For example, a steel plant at Magnitogorsk was constructed just in 3 years, but in this construction, the workers who worked had to suffer a lot because of very poor working conditions. Let us look at some of the social reforms brought by the Soviet government under Stalin. Soviet government brought an extended schooling system in which the school education and even the university education was made available for the peasants and workers. In the factories, crèches were made available for the kids of the workers or of the women who are working in the factories. For all the people, cheap public health care was provided in which people can avail the facility of health care in very less price or at some places even at free of cost. For the workers in the factories, industries, and in other places, model living quarters were made to live. Under the Stalin government, Russia had the privilege to achieve full employment for all the citizens who are able, who are eligible. Universalization of literacy and primary education was another achievement of the Bolshevik government. One of the greatest achievements of the Bolshevik government was to avoid the impact of Great Depression. Great Depression was a situation of economic breakdown which started in 1929. Many countries, even USA and other powerful countries, suffered due to this. But Russia, under the Bolshevik government's planned economy, was able to avoid the bad impact of Great Depression. The first reason was Russia was not integrated with the international market, and Russia was following a planned economy with a balance between demand and supply. So because of this planned economy under the government and with socialist ideology, the Russia under the Bolshevik government was able to avoid the impact of Great Depression. You can note down some important points here. Though there were many achievements of the Bolshevik government, there are also some criticisms on the Communist Party. As I told you earlier that Stalin kept absolute control on his own party members, also on the oppositions. So the first criticism on the Bolshevik government under Stalin was enormous centralization of political power. All the political power was concentrated in the hands of the Communist Party. There was also denial of ordinary democratic liberties. The citizens were not given any liberty to criticize the government or to find fault with the government decisions. Another criticism was doing away with opposition. Opposition's views were not taken importantly by the Communist Party. Even if opposition's leaders happened to oppose the Communist Party in a strong way, then large-scale execution of opposition leaders also was taken place. All this was done on the plea that it is necessary to build a socialist nation. Though there were criticism, there were many idealistic experiences and idealistic results of the Bolshevik government. So, the experience of USSR inspired the great Indians like Nehru, Tagore, M.N. Roy. But the Russian writer George Orwell wrote a book, Animal Farm, to highlight the defects of the communist government and to show that the communist government did not follow the ideals of the movement. Now let us look at the topic Great Depression. As I told you that Great Depression indicates the situation of worldwide economic decline. It was triggered by a decline in demand and fall in the prices. Actually, it was began in 1929 with stock market collapse in US and lasted till 1939. According to experts, the experts' view is that the Great Depression caused because of the effect of the First World War. Though the First World War ended in 1919, its effect started showing the damage from 1929 onwards. It caused a decline in demand. People lost their purchasing power. Millions of workers lost their jobs. They did not have any income or saving. This led to massive unemployment. Closure of factories led to ruin of the business. Peasants found prices of agricultural products crashing down. All over the world, many countries suffered with economic crash, decline in demand, decline in income of the people. Even the governments found it very difficult to handle the situation. So this Great Depression had a big impact on the economy of several nations. You can note down some important points about the Great Depression. It was an worldwide economic decline, began in 1929, and first it was experienced by the stock market collapse in US. As decline in demand led to closure of factories. The meaning of decline in demand is people were not ready to buy because they do not have any income with them. The reason was that millions of workers had to lose their jobs. Even the prices of agriculture products also fall. So peasants also were in the helpless situation. In this way, Great Depression caused a devastating effect on the socio-economic situations, leading to increase in poverty, desolation, homelessness, etc. Now, regarding this Great Depression, there are different points of views given by politicians and as well as economists. There are many arguments and views given by economists and politicians about the causes and prevention of the Great Depression. Let us note the first view given by the Marxist economists. Marxist economists said that Great Depression is caused because of the capitalism. They said that it is the nature of the capitalism. Those who are adopting the capitalistic system, they have to suffer it. And they said that this situation can be solved only with the establishment of socialism. So in this way, according to Marxist economists, the cause of the Great Depression was capitalism and the solution was to adopt socialism. One of the eminent economists, J.M. Keynes, said that role of state, that means role of the government, is very crucial to solve this economic problem. He advised that the government, the state or the government should intervene effectively to solve this problem. The method he suggested is that government should invest more and more funds in large public works and generate employment. When employment will be generated, automatically it will help people to earn money. And when people will have income and savings, they automatically demand goods in the market. And this all will help the economy to revive. So Marxist economists suggested to adopt socialism. J.M. Keyes suggested to government to take action and to invest large funds in the public works. So in this way, different views are given about the Great Depression, showing the causes and showing the remedies also. In this time of Great Depression, there were some welfare measures taken by the American government. The then President of US, Roosevelt, announced the New Deal policy to help those countries who were suffering by the impact of the Great Depression. Roosevelt's New Deal policy included the three R's, in which he promised first relief to the victims of Great Depression. Next, he promised reform of the financial institutions. He also promised for recovery of the economy. And all this was planned by undertaking large public works all over the country. But real boost came by the outbreak of the Second World War. When the Second World War started, large demand for arms and armaments was created. State expenditure on armies and armaments increased. Large number of youth was recruited in the armies. Large number of people found work in the armament factories. So in this way, one side factory production increased and other side demand for the farm produce also increased. So in this way, after the 3 R's policy or New Deal policy of the Roosevelt, America developed a lot because of the demand created on arms and armaments by the Second World War. Note down some points. The New Deal policy was announced by Roosevelt, the then President of US. It included 3 R's: relief, reform, recovery. And they planned that this can be done by undertaking large public works. Though the government was adapting in different way, but the real boost for this policy came by the Second World War. Because demand for army and armaments started because of the war, so factory production also increased and demand for farm production also increased. Now let us look at different types of welfare measures taken in US and UK in the time of Great Depression. Different social security systems in US were taken by the government to revive the people from the Great Depression's impact. Universal retirement pensions were announced to the people who will retire from their jobs at the age of after 60. Unemployment insurances were also advanced to the youth to feel them secure. For the handicapped and needy children, welfare benefits were announced. All this formed a framework for the US welfare system. In the same way, United Kingdom also taken many welfare measures like unemployment insurance, old age pension scheme, extensive social security measures, unemployment doles, etc. You can see at the present time also many countries are following different types of welfare measures, taking inspiration from those measures taken in the time of Great Depression. These measures were necessary to give a dignified life for the citizens. These also included sickness coverage, in which people were given cheap and less price health facilities. Child care and health schemes all around the state was ensured, and a minimum dignified life for all the citizens was ensured. Implementation of idea of welfare state was kept at the main view behind all these steps. The government tried its best to ensure basic minimum dignified life for all the citizens. It made sure that taking care of elementary needs like food, housing, health, child and old age care and education should be done in a proper way. Providing employment to able citizens was also decided by the government. So you can see that there are many welfare measures which was initiated by the US and UK government in the time of Great Depression so that the people can come out the miserable condition created by the Great Depression. So you have known in this lesson about the Russian Revolution and about the impacts of the Great Depression. So I hope that you will remember all these important points and will be interested for the next session of this lesson.